Surrender, surrender, surrender. Yeah, we often hear about, hey, it's good to surrender. You need to surrender if you're spiritual. That's the spiritual thing to do. But why is it that we so often resist and avoid and run away from surrender when deep down we know it is the key to freedom? There is this misconception about surrender in our culture today. The idea that if you surrender, you won't manifest your goals, dreams, or desires. You're going to get left behind. You're going to be a doormat. You're going to be taken advantage of. If you surrender, you won't be able to live your dream or your vision that you have. Who the hell wants to surrender if that's the definition of surrender? I'm actually saying, if you surrender, what if you got more? More than you could plan, more than you could imagine, more than you could visualize. What if life actually gave you more joy, more abundance, more? Maybe not what you most expected or planned, but beyond what you could imagine. To me, this is surrender. This is the beauty, the art, the magic of surrender. In so many ways, we think we are in control. We think we are in control of our lives. And so surrender is to let go, trying to control every single thing that we're really not in control anyway. Surrender is to let go, trying to manipulate and force life to fit our limited idea of what we think it should be. To surrender is to let go of the idea of who we think we should be, the idea of how we think our life should be, so that we can truly open to the life that is seeking to happen. Sounds beautiful, sounds easy, but how the hell do we actually surrender? The first stage of surrender, we are often in denial. We're just living our life, doing what we're doing, living our programming, living what we've been taught. We're the religion that we are. We do the job that we kind of think we should be doing. We're just living a certain way. Maybe then things happen, or we begin to feel dissatisfied, and you begin to question, is this it? Maybe there's more. Maybe there's a different way of doing things. So we begin to question. This is the beginning of growth. We start moving into the next stage as we start questioning ourselves, who we are, our identity, what we want. There is a gap. The challenge is your ego, the ego which is your perceived sense of self, who you think yourself to be, based on memories, based on past, based on beliefs, starts to freak out because you've lived your life a certain way for so long. This is who I am. This is what I know myself to be. Then as you start questioning yourself, the ego starts to freak out, and you move into the next stage, which is resistance. You begin resisting life, resisting changes, resisting questioning. This resistance is a self-protective mechanism out of self-preservation of one's ego. So you move from denial to resistance. Once you move into resistance, then the next stage is, you may find, you start to negotiate. You begin to negotiate with life. One of the ways we resist and we negotiate is we often are not honest, truthful, and we lie to ourselves about who we are and what we feel. Some of it is conscious, most of it is unconscious. Nah, I'm fine. I like my job. The relationship's not so bad. These are lies that we're constantly telling ourselves. So to truly begin surrendering requires that you move into telling yourself the truth. You often know when you're not in the truth, or you're not truly in alignment, or you're betraying yourself, because you will feel some kind of pain within yourself. Pain is a signal that you are not telling the truth, that you are not surrendering, that you are not resisting in some way. Pain is a signal, it's a messenger. We often deny it, we often suppress it, but it is a gift and it is a friend that we must make time to be present to feel and get the message from, right? So we move from denial to resistance to then we start negotiating with life. We start negotiating, maybe not. The challenge is many times we end up negotiating our entire lives, and life passes us by. Don't let life pass you by negotiating your destiny and life away. The next phase is we move into acceptance. But what I want to make clear is acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance, yes, you need to move into acceptance. You've got to accept what is. This is what it is. Life is what it is. The relationship is what it is. I am what I am. You have to accept what is in order to be able to change what is. This is first step to transformation. But acceptance is not surrender in that it doesn't mean you are fully participating with the experience that is happening. Maybe it's raining outside and you don't want it to be raining outside because you had an intention to go out to the beach with your family, and now you're mad and pissed off and upset that it's raining outside. You accept that it's raining outside, but you are mad and a little upset that it's raining outside, arms crossed like in a huff that it's raining, right? So you're in acceptance, but you're not open. Surrender, on the other hand, is the full open-hearted participation in the process of life. Now, between acceptance and surrender here is the key. There is a phase in the middle that's called grieving. Surrender is a death. Surrender is a letting go of perception, letting go of an idea, and there will be a natural sadness and death of something within yourself, or a part of yourself, or a phase of your life, or aging process, or something. So when you're really surrendering, often what you will feel is grief. Most people suppress that grief because we think it's going to last forever. We think it's not positive. We think we won't be able to handle it. We think that it's going to overwhelm us. Or sometimes we try to do a spiritual bypass and only be positive. We'll call it like a toxic positivity, right? Where we spiritually bypass it, suppress it, but we often don't realize that when you suppress the negative feeling, it doesn't go anywhere. It just stays in your body, in your heart, creates a layer within you that you carry with you to the next phase of you, to the next experience, and you end up recreating situations that affirm the very emotion that you are not feeling and that you are suppressing. So, to truly surrender, how do you surrender? Requires that you acknowledge and you feel your grief. What is it that you haven't grieved yet? There is no authentic surrender without grieving. What is it that you have not fully allowed yourself to grieve? Maybe it's the dreams that you thought were going to be last year that weren't. Maybe it's the end of that relationship that you haven't fully let yourself grieve. Maybe it's the part of yourself. Maybe it's a phase of your life. Grief is the portal to surrender.